thing as a black Jewish Canadian? Yeah, there's definitely such thing. All you have to have, yeah, your dad could be black, your mom could be Jewish, and you're born in Canada. Problem solved. Bam. Black Jewish Canadian. That was easy. Come on. Your thoughts on postmodern art and existentialism from Romulus is Risen. Postmodern art, I'm not a big art guy. I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about it because, frankly, I don't. So I'm not gonna put up a front about that. But about existentialism, I guess I'd classify myself as an existential nihilist. So someone who believes that there's no inherent good or evil, but that things can be beneficial and detrimental, and you can kind of use those terms almost synonymously to mean good and evil. And I mean, I get, is that what you want to hear? Like, I really don't even know. There's so many angles you can go with this, but I guess you could say that I'm an absurdist because I believe that there aren't intrinsic morals and that there's nothing like good or bad or evil out there. But you know, who am I to say? I don't really know. And as far as absurdism goes, that's kind of the similar belief to what I hold as an existential nihilist, except with the added kind of little perk that you say, oh, but we believe that you can take the initiative and go and, you know, do the best that you can out there and use your life for good, despite the fact that there isn't really a motive to live intrinsically. But I don't really agree with that so much, just because it sounds like it's a desperate ploy to try and put a positive spin on a somber truth. So I don't know about that. But if you want to get more into that, I could do a whole video on that because I really like talking about stuff like that. So it's just very difficult to talk about when you are slaying zombies and reading Twitter. All right. Let me scroll on up a bit. All right. Actually, I have a few high school memories I could talk about. Let's think. When I was... God, this is so difficult. Because, I mean, so many things happened in high school that were just ridiculous. We had this janitor that used to yell at us for no reason at my high school. He was a complete ass clown. He would go out of his way to be a dick. One time, I was... after lunch, I was right by the cafeteria, by the vending machines, and I wanted to get a soda because I wanted a goddamn soda, and I didn't need an excuse because I had money and I could afford a soda. And I asked this guy, this janitor who was walking by, who I knew was in charge of turning on the vending machines. I was like, hey, can you turn on the vending machine so I can buy a soda? And instead of just being like, oh yeah, sorry about that, I should have turned it on earlier, or even just like, oh yeah, and turn it on, he like went off on me, and he started being like, yo, you don't need a soda, it's too sugary. Oh, you don't even need one. I'm doing you a favor by not turning this on. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, I just want a soda. Oh, my mouth's getting dry. Speaking of soda, can I have a sip? Oh, there he is, left side of the screen, poking his dirty little ass out. Or you don't have an ass anymore. Oh, all right. I'm going to go switch up the guns. Oh, what other high school memories did I have that were of merit? Oh, my sophomore year of high school, I had a history teacher who was very, very old, and he couldn't... God damn it! 3 of those? But I had a history teacher who was extremely, extremely old, and his vision was failing, and he actually got let go from the school a few years ago now, just because he couldn't see well enough to drive. Like, it was that bad. And one color that he especially had difficulty with was yellow. He could not see the color yellow pretty much at all. And so what we did pretty regularly throughout that class the whole year is we would bring brand new bright yellow tennis balls to class, and we would play catch, like during class as he was teaching. Just as long as we didn't make too much of a scene about the act of catching it or throwing it, we could do this all damn day. He could not see it, and every time we would like do it and someone would start to giggle, he would like be like, hey, this isn't a comedy class, or like just say something really goofy about that. He just didn't have a goddamn clue. It was the most clueless I've ever seen someone like in a position where they're supposed to be the person in charge. It was pretty hilarious. So retrospect, feel kind of bad about it. So I don't know about that, but anyway, what else? It's my sophomore year chemistry teacher. He was like fresh out of college. He was a really nice guy, and he wanted to pull a prank on us because we were giving him a lot of shit for being a new teacher. And so what he did is he just made this huge ordeal for like 2 weeks about how he was going to do this experiment. And then one day he brought in this big vial of liquid and turned off the lights, and it was just this really bright luminescent liquid that was just kind of glowing, just really eerily, kind of green or maybe kind of indigo, like really kind of creepy, like looked like something from Harry Potter, or that, you know, that little vial that Frodo has that he carries around that Galadriel gave to him. This is a nerd check, by the way, so if you do know what I'm talking about, congrats, you're on my level. It looked like that, and he stood up in front of the class, and then he goes, all right, and he looked really nervous, like he looked really nervous, and then he just tilted the vial back and started chugging this shit, just straight chugging all this liquid, and everybody in the class was like, what the hell is going on? And then after he chugged it, he stood there for like 3 seconds, and then he just went limp, like boned fish limp, like just, and fell down, like straight away, just passed out, fell down on the ground. And everybody started freaking out, and this one girl in my class started screaming and ran out into the hallway yelling and going to get a nurse because she thought that he was so hurt. And she ruined it because as soon as she got up and ran out screaming, everybody else was kind of freaking out. He stood up and told us that was a prank to get back at us for being annoying little bitches, although he didn't say it quite in that terminology. But that was freaking hilarious. Props to him, Mr. Brenneman. Good for you. Mr. Brenneman was a good guy. He's still alive, so I don't know why I said was. He was a good teacher, though. Funny guy. What else did we do in high school that was... Or what else happened, I suppose, in high school? Oh, this one's kind of academically what you should not seek to emulate, but I'll admit it now. It's been like 3 years, or 4 years now. So I was taking a class called... I don't even remember the class name. Life Skills. Life Skills was the class name. It was a complete throwaway for seniors, second semester seniors who were just looking for credits, and I had already finished everything I needed to do to graduate, and so I was taking this this class. And the only 2 grades we had in the class were we had to keep track of the handouts that she gave us and put them all in a notebook and organize them and like intermittently take notes. It was a very small workload, like maybe a total of an hour per notebook of like solid work if you sat down and did it all at once. And there's only 2 of those for the whole semester. The first one, I did most of it, turned it in, didn't really give a shit because I'm like, oh, screw this, I'm going to college, not going to take away my my contract, whatever the hell you get from college to be able to go there. Not going to take away my admission just because I do bad in this bullshit class. And so I blew it off, didn't pay attention, and it got to be the point that it was like the end of the year, and she was like, all right, time to turn in your second notebooks. And like it was a known fact in this class that if you didn't turn in one of your notebooks, you failed. And I hadn't done any of it. And if you fail this class, it still counts as a class that you failed, and so you can't graduate. And I was panicking. I'm like, oh shit. She's coming around and she's picking these things up, and she's going to get to me, and she's going to know. She's going to know that I didn't do it, and I'm not going to be able to graduate. I am boned. And so I was thinking really fast, and I was like, all right, I can play this up. I can do it. And so she comes over to talk to me, and she was like, all right, Taylor, do you have your notebook? And I was like, my notebook? And she was like, yeah, the notebook. And I was like, you mean the one I was going over with you last week? And she was like, going over with me last week? And I just picked a date last week. And I was like, yeah, last Wednesday, you and I were going over it, and we were talking about personality types. Like I just was bullshitting the whole thing. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't remember. And I was like, yeah, but you said since it was already done, I could just leave it there, so you just took it. And do you have it? Because I'd like to keep it. And then suddenly, I flipped the tables on her, and it wasn't me having not turned in the assignment, it was her losing my assignment. And suddenly she was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I lost your assignment. I mean, I want you guys to be able to bring these books to college since they have so much good advice in them. And I was like, oh, I know, I want to be able to bring it to college too. Can you please try and find it for me? And she was like, all right, I'm sorry. For now, I'll just enter a grade in for you. And she walked away, and I left that class standing a little taller and feeling a little better, because that was just like the most ridiculous, just I get up, just lucky bullshit thing ever that I did in high school. Just completely blew off half a class, still managed to pass. But don't do what I did. Not a good idea. Alright. What else happened in high school? If I just take the time to think for a while, I could probably go for days about this stuff. Oh, freshman year. Alright, freshman year in high school. It's my first, I think this might have been my first class in high school. It was a history class, ancient history, I guess I had it first hour, and oh no, scratch that. Never mind. Didn't have it first hour. That's for another story. I'll bring that one up in a bit. Where the hell are these zombies? But anyway, so.